Hey Pisces family, what is going on? Thanks so much for tuning in. I am Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we are looking at your weekly energy. So yes, welcome. Sending lots of love and blessings. I hope things are well in your world. So we're just entering Aries season. The shift in energy is forcing us to look at new people, places, and things, like how we can kind of expand our approach, right? Taking a different look at things from a different lens. It's more of an action-oriented energy, and we connect a lot with ourselves during this Aries season. It's ruled by the first house, which is the house of self. So it's a great time to plant seeds. We just had a new moon. There's actually 2 Aries new moons this month, which is pretty fun. All right, let's get into it. All right, yeah, so there's this weird in between that you see yourself in this week. I feel like, it's your life did a complete 180. Things have shifted a lot for you. And there's this need to pay attention a little bit more. I feel like this is kind of putting a little more structure into your life, not having like kind of that willy-nilly, it's good to have order, because not that I'm, saying be really rigid per se, but it's that element of having routine, having structure brings us a little bit more fluidity. It opens up our capacity to do all the things we want to do, right? And if we're busy, if there's a lot going on, 222 on the clock, it's finding ways to manifest not only what you want, but what you need. Maybe you need help delegating, like delegating some tasks, finding people, places, and things that can support what you're doing. And I feel like that's what happens when we take a step back and reflect. Even if you're kind of uncertain about where things lie, because that liminal space talks a lot about being on the threshold, like things haven't completely shifted 100% into the new yet. And so it can be very awkward, not really knowing, like you can feel it bubbling underneath the surface, that things are shifting and changing, etc. But you haven't really seen the results 100%, right? There's still some evolution that needs to happen. And I feel like in order to get to where you want to be, what you've been putting the hard work in for, you need a little bit more support. Notice the signs. This is also like messages from spirit, or where you need to connect with your intuition a little bit more. Our intuition is our initial response, right? It's how we, it's kind of like what we know innately. Our spirit sends us the messages, right? And obviously, Pisces, you are a sign that's very in tune with that, which can be a blessing, and I think that what you need to do, but I think there is a little bit of hesitancy or resistance for some reason. Not good, bad, right, or wrong. I think that goes back to not being fully grounded in the new. But like I said, there is this requirement of reaching out to people, places, and things that will help support what you're growing and building right now. All right, let's get into the tarot and see how this plays out for you guys this week. The highest and best message for Pisces. Okay, yeah. Little rest, rejuvenation, meditation. Even if you feel like you don't have time to do that, which we're all super busy, you know, in the modern world, this is like a need to do it. You need to squeeze a little bit more you time, rest time in there. I feel like this will actually help you think clearer as well. Yeah, totally. With that fairy stallion. So this is the Chariot in the traditional deck. And that really is about connecting with our empowerment. Like, you're on this really powerful path. Pisces. Say that 3 times fast. Powerful path, Pisces. You know, and I love this for you because it's well deserved. You're putting the thought, the time, the intention into it, right? I feel like there still is a level of uncertainty, and that's, again, why it's really great to take a step back. You might be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, King of Wands energy. You could also, I mean, this really is just the embodiment of creation, of that masculine ambition, drive, power. You could be your own entrepreneur, someone who, you know, is very forward thinking. He's a visionary, right? So that could be you or someone that you're dealing with right now. For everyone, it will be different. You'll know how that plays out for you, Pisces. All right. Yeah, so growing that wealth, growing that abundance, that's super beautiful. It's attaching to your desires, like what makes you feel strong and empowered and victorious as well with that 6 of Wands. I hear like you're looking at a person or a situation through that lens, right? Like money is a huge factor in this, how it evolves. But I feel like you also like want more for yourself, you know? Because one of these energies is very grounded, it makes sense, it's practical, it's stable. But then you're also having this vibe of like, you know, she kind of reminds me of like a witch, like really witchy, like, you know, she's like intentionally manifesting what she wants or connecting to the spirit world. Maybe you're someone who practices, you know, certain types of, whether it's divination, whether you do what I do, whether you, ooh, sorry. I have been knocking things over off that area. I broke something earlier. So yeah, I feel like it's kind of like you're juggling 2 different worlds is what I'm hearing. And it is a little bit of like being torn between 2 things, something that you love, something that you connect with, and something that maybe just makes more sense. It has a practical undertone. But I feel like you're getting what you want. It does say that you're on that path, but it's like you just need to be a little bit more conscious and aware of what's going on in your environment and make decisions accordingly. Because it's saying that you do have to leave behind. Yeah, something behind, guys. Like this is the Emperor. This is Aries energy. This is dealing with someone who's very rigid, who is very almost like limiting the process is what I'm hearing. With the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so there's Earth sign, that's Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. There's something about this that you need to see from a different perspective. I feel like there's some chaos going on around you. And that totally makes sense as why you're connecting with this principle as well, right? Like what works best for you. You don't want to get involved in the hubbub. You already have enough going on. And there's like a lot of opinions that are surrounding this. And you know, like in your own self, yeah, I mean, I think it's been really stressful is what I'm hearing, but I feel like you can have the best of both worlds, right? You just need a little bit more support, and that's where you're struggling. it's hard to, and I get that, right? Like when there's a lot of people involved, there's a lot of input. It looks like you're really working to figure out what's best for you, because that's ultimately what you want. You don't want to keep dumping your time and energy into something that's, you know, where you always have to defend yourself. And this is such a beautiful energy because it really does talk about rising through the ashes. So the things that have gotten in your way, that have burned bridges, you know, kind of like brought you down, or maybe that feeling of being brought down, it needs to be released and let go. I think you have what you need. It's just a lot, right? And that's why this is really talking about connecting with the places that you need that growth and support, because you don't have it in the way that you need right now, is what I'm hearing. So messages, communications are being blocked. Maybe no one's talking about anything. 1111. Yeah, it just feels like there's a lot of, you know, like lack of communication about what is actually happening. It's all kind of like still up in the ethers, right? No one's really making decisions on how to move forward or how to overcome. And so it's getting lost in, it's almost like over analyzing it is what I'm hearing, right? Like getting overly, and I don't know if this, I don't feel like this is you. I mean, I feel like you have a lot on your plate, and I feel like you're just doing your best to get through it all, right? But then there is this element of like the dynamic, whatever this chaos is over here, it's getting like everyone's getting lost in the emotion, and it's really preventing things from moving forward and taking off. And I feel like that's so applicable to the space that we're in right now, being in Aries season, because it allows us to kind of weed out this stuff, right? The stuff that's preventing it, that's blocking it. You need certain things in order to move, in order to make it a little bit more balanced. And that is all about where you're getting your support from, right? And you have to connect with it. You have to recognize it in order to be able to manifest it. Being a little bit more diplomatic in your approach, Pisces. I mean, there's like so many people on the board. This is, all signs are represented. Actually, there's no water sign. There's no water sign. You know, but there is something that I feel like it's either something or someone that there is a little bit more balance, there is more diplomacy, but there's a lot of fear around this connection. It is, you know, a masculine energy. Irregardless of gender, this can just be someone who's very like rational, practical with their approach. Someone from the past with this Six of Cups. But this is a good connection. It's a harmonious connection. There's some fear, I feel like, around this. Yeah. There is fear around this. And that's where I feel like it's confusing for you, because you know, you have all this noise in the background on one end and nothing's really evolving. I mean, it is. I feel like it is. It's brought a lot of changes, but there's still this need to kind of scrutinize how much of your energy you really want to put into things. You know, it's totally talking about the need to see it in a different way. Especially if you have this like King of Wands fire energy trying to tell you what to do, you know, like dictate, because it does feel like your thoughts are different. There is abundance coming through, but I feel like you need to make certain choices surrounding it, right? Of what that really does look like for you. Yeah, I mean, it's just finding the resources that you need, Pisces. And you can totally do that, right? You know it. I feel like you can feel it instinctually. Not everything has to be scrutinized with that fine-tooth comb, right? That energy of overanalyzation, that traps us, right? That's exactly this Two of Swords energy. The message with Two of Swords is it's all about like a decision needs to be made, and whatever choice you make, there's always going to be that element of good and bad. Yes, there's always better decisions, especially, you know, if you're dealing with certain things that are a little bit more negative. But I also think this leaves you confined. Sometimes, you know, it's kind of just like, again, getting our resources, using something for what it is for the period of time that it's available, and not getting too wrapped up in how it's all going to work out, right? Surrendering to the process, knowing that you are going to have exactly what you need instead of trying to like control and manipulate it. I mean, I don't feel like you're manipulative. I don't want you to hear that. It just is this energy of fear, right? That fear of really kind of dialing in, trusting yourself, making the steps that you need to, and getting lost, like I said, in that kind of constant scrutiny. I mean, we can analyze anything to death, but then it kind of leaves us stuck, right? So I hear this is a lot about giving yourself that opportunity to really grow and expand into what you're trying to manifest, building and creating it, Pisces. So this is just the energy for this week. I hope the reading helped. I'm sending lots of love and blessings your way to whatever you're navigating. Thank you so much for your love and support to the channel. Big thumbs up if it resonated. Drop comments below. Thanks, Pisces. Have a great day.